So my name is Andy Jennings. I'm the head men's soccer coach at Vassar College, and I've been coaching here for about 20-something years. I've been at Vassar for 30-something years.
What is the best piece of advice that you can offer to high school student athletes who are looking to play at the collegiate level?
It certainly depends on where you're talking about in terms of the collegiate level, but you can't do anything without an academic component, and that has to be fundamental to anybody's development as a young person. So academically, they need to do what they need to do and get that sorted to the level to the highest level they possibly can. That gives them the option of playing in a lot of different environments. As far as the playing is concerned, getting in the best environment they possibly can in terms of club soccer, whether it's the development academy or just a regular club team. The sad thing about the development academy, losing that high school experience is very sad for a lot of young kids. So if you can find a club that allows you to continue to develop and evolve, that would be the advice that I would give. And then attending clinics and camps of the schools you're interested in, because that's where coaches are really going to be serious about you if you get to the camps and clinics, rather than just hoping they see you play half a game at a tournament.
When you meet a potential player, what kinds of qualities do you look for?
Certainly integrity, honesty. I look for a player that has opinions, is willing to question, is the sort of player that would hold other players accountable, would hold himself accountable, would definitely hold me accountable. Somebody that's confident in themselves, and that would fit in a Vassar environment. I mean, the Vassar environment is somewhat unique and is an incredible environment, but the player has to have the maturity and understanding of being in an environment where he's not going to agree with everything that's said, done, or believed at Vassar, but will understand that that's a part of life. It's part of an opinion.
What is the average GPA and test scores that you look for in a potential player?
So it's a difficult question because you're looking at the quality of the curriculum that the student will take. I mean, we're looking for kids that take honors, AP courses. We want players to take the toughest courses they can take at their high school. We expect A's, B's. If there's a C, then it has to be very one-off. But I would say in the high 3.0s, 3.6, 3.7, 1360, mid 1300s is a minimum for the SATs, 28, 29 ACT.
What do you believe is the proper role of the parent when they are going through the recruiting process with you?
I think the role of the parent should be supportive, create an environment in which the student can make their own decisions, make their own choices. Obviously, financial aid is a huge part of a decision, so they have to be intimately involved in that decision. But parents should not be involved in a way that is overbearing, is aggressive, is connecting themselves to the coach. I don't recruit parents, I recruit kids, and when parents contact me, I actually tell the parents to forward the information onto the student, and we'll continue the conversation with the student. But having said that, the important part of the parent, it's critical that the parents are involved in the process from a slight distance, because they need to know and they need to be comfortable in the environment that their son is going to for the next 4 or 5 years, because those years are hugely informative in their development.
For upcoming high school student athletes, how would you best describe your coaching style to them?
I'm pretty confident in the way I see the way I want us to play, and I feel I'm very knowledgeable, and so that confidence maybe presents a difficult thing for a player to argue and discuss with, but I want that. I like arguments and discussions. I like talking about the way we play. I think every player's got an opinion. It's their program. It's not my program. I like to see myself as a guide to the program. But ultimately, somebody's got to make a decision about the way we play and how we're going to do something, and that's where the coach has to. But the coach needs to get input. So I'm always looking for input from players, and I think that they would look upon that as a strength. And so my confidence, I think, creates a sense of security in what I'm doing, and a lot of coaches, I feel, at this level are more sort of a little bit insecure, and they become dictatorial. They become closed to player opinion, and I think player opinion is very, very important.
What is the biggest thing that a potential player could do that would eliminate them from getting an offer from you?
Well, obviously, academically, they're not in the mode. Playing wise, they don't fit the way we play. But certainly in the process, if they fit both of those areas, the psychological part of the equation is really, really important. So if they come for a visit and they mess up, the current players don't think this player is a good player. We've not recruited a player when a player is visited and the current players have said, this kid's arrogant, this kid's so negative. So they have to be positive, they have to be upbeat, they have to be forward-looking, they have to be progressive, they have to fit the Vassar mode. And so if they go against any of that, obviously screwing up on the official visit would nix them straight away. I don't mind watching players argue with referees, talk to their coaches, but if they're dirty, if they're malicious, manipulative, in a game, then those things are big no-nos.
What region or states of the country do you recruit from? And if your school was on a high school student's radar, what camp should they go to so you can see them?
So we recruit from all over the country, and obviously foreign countries as well. The financial aid is a little different in terms of the financial aid program, but we recruit from all over. New England is tough for us because of the NESCACs and because there's so many schools in this region. We've never really needed to pursue kids from the New England area because we have such great relationship with clubs and teams in the on the West Coast. And California, being the second largest state in terms of applications to Vassar, makes California a very positive place for us to recruit. But we'll recruit from all over, and many times kids contact us and initiate the interest that we then have in them. I think probably 90% of the kids that we're looking at this year have come to our ID clinic, and there's probably that similar percentage for the last 4 or 5 years. So they need to come to a Vassar ID camp. They're one day, they're inexpensive, and we limit it just to 30 kids so we can really focus in on them. And we have some really good coaches. We had Andrew Goldsmith here last year as a coach, and it was awesome to have him here.
How early should a potential player reach out to you, and what is the best way to communicate with you?
Usually we say the first semester of their junior year is a good time. We start to look at players just as they're going into their junior year. So by the start of their senior year, we're almost done with our recruiting class. We might go on until the end of their first semester senior year, but by September, October of their junior year, they need to be really in contact with us. They're allowed an official visit after January 1st of their junior year, and that's always a good time. We don't really have a good, clear picture of them academically until the end of their junior year, so it's tough to sort of give a really good sense of where they fit academically until the end of their junior year. But that period from sort of January through July, August of their junior year is really the critical time, because that's when we get to see them, that's when they come to the ID clinics, and that's when we get sort of a real good sense of them academically. But 6 months earlier than that is a good time to reach out.
What is the funniest thing that a high school student athlete did to market themselves to you?
The worst thing they do is put terrible music on their highlight tape, which they think is going to be really exciting. They think it's awesome. So one kid did, when he knew it was me, he did all 70s classic rock, Stones, Zeppelin, and so I thought that was pretty neat. But I don't know if there's a sense of humor in the recruiting process, but that's a good question. That's the best I can come up with.
What is the craziest thing that a parent did that made you not recruit their son?
It's just the worst thing that they can do is get involved in a way that they connect to the school in some way. They contact other people in admissions or career development and make out that if my kid comes to your school, these are all the things that are going to happen. That's not the reason we're looking to recruit that particular player. So I think it's just getting too involved in all the other things to try and make it happen. But to be honest, I can't think of too many times that's happened.